Hello everyone and welcome to the Digimon Ghost Game review video. This time I'm going to be going over episode 55 of Ghost Game, which is called Bakeneko, but I'm also going to be going over the upcoming episode Synopses, which came out today. The translated version, of course, as always, is thanks to With the Will. So, first of all, this week's episode, I'm not really sure how to feel about it. In probably the best possible way, it was so uncomfortable and creepy. So we have the Mon of the Week being Bastemon, who is that weird kind of cat belly dancer kind of Digimon, and she's kind of being a puppet master to the neighborhood cats and also the people. So Bastemon is offended that cats aren't like the rulers of the world and they're not really considered gods like they used to be in ancient times. So Bastemon's kind of whole deal is that she's going to be taking these cats out and training them for how they can be the masters to the humans. The humans need to copy all the movements of the cat, and whenever a cat does something that is cat-like, and Bastemon really likes it, like, going through a really tight space, or jumping up somewhere really high and being really graceful, Bastemon then wants the human to do the exact same thing, or get into the exact same position, which some humans obviously can't do because it's the limitation of being a human. And when the human is unable to do that, she says that they fail. So what it means if they pass or fail, if they pass, it means they get to be a pet of the cat. If they fail, they then have to dig their own graves. So it's a really creepy sort of thing going on. We also have the cats that are under control of Bastemon doing really weird facial expressions and really weird, poses where they look kind of like, I don't think the word's quite uncanny valley because that's more like with human-like things, but it's just kind of unsettling, the positions that they're putting in. They're kind of like, that their joints are hanging off, like their arms are kind of like this, their heads are like this. It's not quite right, and it's rather upsetting and kind of unhinged, I think is a good word for how these positions are. So it's really deeply upsetting, and not to mention, the start of the episode has characters just randomly sleepwalk and go in very dangerous positions and dangerous, walking along their balcony on their tippy toes, which, as someone who sleepwalks, is kind of confronting and terrifying. So, not just the fact that it's just general horror, we also have something that is a more realistic horror than the cats being in control. Randomly sleepwalking to the death is obviously a huge fear of someone who sleepwalks, such as myself. So, this episode was really unsettling. I'm not really 100% about how I feel about it. I think this is possibly a great episode on the basis that it does do a lot of creepy stuff, which Ghost Game is very good at. It was also paced fairly well and had a conclusion that kind of made sense. They basically find celery and olives, which are able to intoxicate the cats, which turns them back to normal. Then we have the threat of Bastemon not exactly being affected in the same way because she's not going crazy over it, but she does feed on the other Digimon. But if Thetismon is holding the celery and olives and Bastemon feeds on her, she then herself gets intoxicated. However, I felt like the end of the episode, it felt like she kind of gave up a little bit too easily. It felt like as soon as she kind of got over being drunk on the celery and olives, she was kind of like, okay, I concede, maybe one day I'll have a human partner. Which is kind of nice, but considering just how evil and hellbent on her way she was, I felt like it was just a little bit too easy for her just to switch sides. She still says she wants to watch out for the cats and she wants to make sure that they get the respect that they deserve, but it just feels like she gives in a little bit too easily. It just feels kind of weird, and it's not done in the same way that we had the Bastemon episode from about a year ago, where it was they were kind of yes, we'll behave now, duh, or will we? Kind of suspicion. No, this one just looked like she was actually just good now, which was a little bit weird, but I guess she's just going to be a friend that they hang out with. But overall, I think I liked the episode. It was nice to see Ruli in action. It was nice to see Jellymon also in action. I like when we have Ruli team up with other Digimon. We had her team up with Airdramon again, and also Jellymon and Angoramon, because Kiyoshiro, Hiro, and Gammamon were all being controlled by Bastemon. Something that is interesting about Bastemon is that she seemed to recognize Gammamon. She was like, a white Digimon? No, you can't be, sort of thing. So, again, there's something that's a question mark about Gammamon's past being this, I guess, legendary Digimon that a few Digimon have recognized now at this point. But overall, I think I liked this episode. I think it was a good episode, but it was also incredibly creepy, but in a good way. Like, it was just unsettling. It was an unsettling episode, and I just felt a little bit like unnerved by this episode. But overall, I think I liked it. Again, we have little like plot tidbits, which some episodes have, but this one had like just that quick like second of Bastemon possibly recognizing Gammamon from being some incredible cool guy that we've had in previous episodes. But again, we're up to episode 55 now. I'm kind of hoping that we do get something in terms of plot. I'm fine with it being episodic if the standard of episode is like this week's episode, which I did enjoy. But at the same time, I would like to see something happen. We are almost nearing the 1-year anniversary of when we first got Gulas Gammamon, so that's pretty exciting. But overall, I'm not expecting any like plot for the rest of the year. Having said that, we've only got a few more episodes left in the year anyway. We've got next week's, and then we've got a Christmas episode. I can't imagine any plot happening in the Christmas episodes, but then again, I haven't actually read the episode synopsis yet. I wanted to read through them together with you, the viewer, the listener, however you are consuming this video. So with that, the episode out of the way, let's read through the synopses. Again, these are uploaded to With the Will. They've got the episode guide listings and they've translated them in English. I don't actually know where it's originally written in. I would assume some newspaper because it says episode guide listings. But in any case, we have this week's episode, which I won't really pay much attention to because we just watched that. So it's Heroes. Here's a news report about a young girl having been rescued after waking from atop of a rooftop billboard on a multi-tenant building. Gammamon joins Heroes Jr., Riku in taking care of 2 stray cats, Choro and Noro behind the school dormitory, who at the end of the episode, they get adopted by the dorm, which is kind of cool. I do appreciate that. They are coordinated by Kiyoshiro. That night, Choro appears, turned into a monster cat, and controls the sleeping Kiyoshiro with a strange power, making him jump around like a cat on the roofs of the dormitory building and buildings under constructions, and thus this is how the monster cats have recently been controlling humans, manipulating them to walk on dangerous heights. Hiro witnesses Gammon and Kiyoshiro to start, along with many other people waking up at these heights. Bastemon appears and Hero 2 is controlled and taken away. The controlled humans are gathered in a creepy pet cemetery, when Bastemon tells them they're now going to sort which humans make the cut or not. So yeah, that was this week's episode. And we have next week's episode, which the episode guide listing was translated to Stain, but the official Crunchyroll subtitles has called it Impurity. So that's episode 56, which is coming out on December 18th. So that is next week's episode, and I don't know why, I just noticed that my lights went weird in my camera recording, so apologies for that. So yeah, we have that coming out next week, so December 18th. Hiro's classmate Kotaro is acting funny, which seems on brand for him. He's also the guy who kind of he's the punching bag, I guess, because he just keeps on being weird towards women. Anyway, so he has a blank expression on his face, keeps saying dirty, and repeatedly washes his face. That sounds haunting. Gammon instinctively senses that he isn't really Kotaro. Wow, Gammamon. But beyond his strange behaviour, he appears to be the usual Kotaro. Oh gosh, we're going to have him being a creep. Meanwhile, Ruli's friend Mika also mutters dirty in the same way and acts abnormally. Finally, even Kiyoshiro begins to act strangely. Quietly but steadily, the people they know are changing into something else. The eerie phenomenon spreads throughout the town, and so maybe something could happen in this episode. So that could be cool, but I can't really say it. Whenever they have and ... something seems to like happen. So I'm wondering if we get like, maybe this could be like the evolution to Omega form or something. That would be cool. Again, we just had the Vital Bracelet BE come out with the Gammamon BE memory, and that meant that that does open up the doors for the possibility of having more evolutions soon, especially because this month's issue of Psycho Jump had the promo card for Gammamon's Mega Form. So I'm wondering if this episode we get Cirrusmon. So maybe. Then we have a Christmas episode coming out on December 25th. It's called Ghost Taxi, so it's episode 57. Hero, Gammon, and Kotaro go to a Christmas opera held at a church. On their way home, Kotaro and Gammon are taken by a black taxi and disappear. The two are threatened by a Digimon in the back seat to tell them where the angel is. That is kind of cool and haunting. This sounds like it could be a cool episode. And they drive throughout the night city, unable to get out until they answer. A mysterious fog appears inside the car, and it drains Kotaro and Gammon of their strength, weakening them. Then, as Gammon lies in pain, something begins to happen to his body. Around this time, Hero has been searching for the two, finds a priest looking as dried up as a mummy lying outside the church. So, this one, I can't imagine any plot happening on like a Christmas episode. But if there is plot, maybe we get like Gulas Gammon evolving to the perfect form of Gulas Gammon, which is called Regulusmon. Again, it's a Digimon that's appearing on the Vital Bracelet BE memory for Gammamon, so it would make sense that we start to see more of these Digimon that are appearing on these BE memories soonish, but I'm not going to be holding my breath on the basis that it might just be a cool Christmas episode. I can't imagine them putting in some plot in Christmas, but again, I would love to be wrong here. Then on January 1st, we have a hiatus. We haven't actually had any of these since like the very start of the year when Toei got hacked and we had that big hiatus. So it'll be nice to have a week off, especially because this episode comes out on January 1st and Japan basically only has a few holidays per year and January 1st is one of them. So that's pretty cool. So we just have a week off. And so the next episode after that comes out on January 8th, episode 58, Pyramid. Kwaru, who is a friend from piano class that Ruli has once attended, has gone missing. The only thing left behind is a rectangular dent on the floor that looks as if something enormous has fallen over, haunting, and also her shoes. As Hero and the gang split up to search for her, they encounter ancient Sphinxmon, a legendary Digimon that existed in a super ancient civilization of the digital world. Hero and Kiyoshiro are unable to answer ancient Sphinxmon's riddle and are turned to stone. As Ruli and Angoramon seek advice from Mummymon, a glittering yellow pyramid suddenly appears in Tokyo. What in the Neon Genesis Evangelion's going on here? Can't wait to make all those Evangelion references on the podcast for that episode. So overall, seems pretty cool. We get an ancient Digimon. I do love seeing these ancient Digimon. The best one is clearly Ancient Irismon. I will not take any comments about that. Ancient Irismon is the best one. But overall, I'm wondering if this could possibly be a Angoramon evolves to Mega episode on the basis that January also sees the release of the Angoramon BE memory, which has Angoramon's Mega Form. And then, of course, we also have the promo card for Angoramon's Mega Form and Jellymon's Mega Form coming out in the next month's edition of Psycho Jump, which would have come out a few days prior to this episode coming out, which is January 3rd, I think the Psycho Jump usually comes out. So I'm wondering if that could possibly be an Angoramon evolves to Mega episode. Interestingly, while we do know who Jellymon's Mega Form is, we don't have a BE memory announced yet. I would assume that one is coming out, but we don't actually have one announced yet. So I'm wondering if we're going to actually have Angoramon evolve to Mega before Jellymon does. So I guess I can see this episode being an Angoramon Mega, but if we don't have Gammamon evolving to Mega in the previous episodes or any of the previous episodes, I can't imagine us evolving to Angoramon. So if we get any evolution, if we get like Cirrusmon in any of the Stain or Ghost Taxi, then I'd be pretty hopeful that we get Angoramon's Mega. But if we don't, I don't think we're going to get Angoramon's Mega. So it all depends on whether or not we get Cirrusmon, I guess. So overall, those are the upcoming episode synopses until mid-January. So that's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to especially the Christmas episode. I love Christmas. I'm still going to record an episode, but it might come out a little bit later because obviously, like, the episode comes out at 1:30 p.m. My time, so I'll be probably passed out with like a Christmas cracker hat on my head, which I understand is something that is a UK and Australian tradition, and Europe as well, but not US. We pull bonbons and they have little paper hats and we put the paper hat on. It's very cool. But it's weird that the US don't do it. US Christmas is weird. They don't have pudding. Anyway, and pudding as in, it's a different thing. Anyway, I could go on and on about the differences between real Christmas and whatever the US celebrate. But in any case, those are my thoughts for this week's episode as well as the upcoming episodes. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Like this video for hopefully some evolution episodes coming up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm still trying to get to 13,000 subscribers by the end of the month. I don't think I'm going to make it, but in any case, please subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, tell your friends, tell your dad, tell your sister, I don't know, tell them to subscribe to this channel. And of course, I'll see you and maybe your dad and your sister in the next one. Bye!